Hello everyone, it is Neon Black Game with a YouTube video, and today, as you can see, I'm going to talk about the top 5 cards in Clash Royale with a few honorable mentions. But just before this video starts, if there is an update for new cards in Clash Royale, I will do a new top 5 cards if it's necessary. So that's about it. So here we go, let's get into the video, and here are the first 3 honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is the Wizard. First of all, it has pretty high damage, and it's tons and tons of splash damage. It's versatile on offense and defense, good for pushing and good for playing defense, and it's great with pretty much any push. For instance, behind a Hog Rider, behind a Golem, behind a Giant, behind Barbarians. It's a great card for attacking and defense. So honorable mention number 2 is the Hog Rider. It can be used in many pushes, for instance, Hog Rider Wizard and Hog Rider Barbs. It can also counter push, because if they just use up their elixir and they cannot put a defense down or a counter, you can just quickly, boom, put the Hog Rider down and get a couple shots off onto the tower, and it's very accessible to many different levels because you unlock it at Arena level 4. So now here we go. The last honorable mention before we get into the top 5 is the Tesla. It's great because it can attack air and ground. It distracts tons of pushes. For instance, you can take out Baby Dragon mixed with, like, a Prince. You can distract the Prince to the middle, and then a Prince will not get as much damage. And that's pretty darn good damage, because as you can see, damage per second, 168. That is very, very, very good. So it can take out many different troops. So here we go. Number 5 is going to be the Ice Wizard. This is an amazing card. Sadly, it is super, super, super rare. I'm so lucky to have this card. It is amazing because it's very cheap for what it does. It has splash damage, and it also does a pretty darn good amount of damage, and it can slow down troops. So it can slow down on defense when a huge push is coming. It really slows them down, makes them do less damage, and move slower. It's great. It also helps a ton on offense. I cannot tell you how much. It's amazing. It slows down the tower, and it also can take out it does splash damage. It is amazing. I love it. It can slow down the tower or slow down other troops or defensive buildings. It is insane. So I just really love this troop, and that's why it's on number 5. So number 4 here are the Spear Goblins. This is a very, very commonly used card because you get it right in the beginning of the game, pretty much. Very versatile, very, very cheap. It can go in almost any deck. It can support pushes on offense and help you on defense. And it can, it's very, as I've said before, it's super, super cheap and attacks air and ground. That's why I prefer them over the normal goblins. So that's why this is number 4. So coming in at number 3, we have the Archers. They're very cheap too. They cost 3 elixir, which is 1 more. But they can easily take out Spear Goblins and the Stabby Goblins or normal Goblins. They do a ton of damage. If you can leave them on a tower alone, per shot, they do 77 damage. Normally, you can get around 200 damage on the tower if they're just alone. But with a Baby Dragon or a troop with a little bit more health in front, they can do a ton of damage to that tower. They're very versatile. Once again, like the other troops, they can attack on offense and help on defense. And they can become in many decks because they're so cheap and versatile. They attack air and ground. You can put them in almost any deck. So that's why the Archers are at number 3. So at number 2, we have the Bomb Tower. This might be kind of surprising for you guys, but this card is insane. It should completely be nerfed. It is amazing. First of all, it can counter pretty much any ground troop. If you put this with a Tesla, it will take out a full Golem pretty much without having to take any damage on the tower. It does so much splash damage. Barbarians will just get completely destroyed. Dark Princes, it distracts. It has almost the most health in the game. Look at that, 1,000 hit points. It's insane, and it can distract tons of troops. So that's why this card is at number 2, and I put it in almost every single deck because you can get it early on in the game. So here's number 2. So now coming in at number 1, we have the Baby Dragon. So this card is insane. You can unlock it in the beginning of the game. It is so good. It is so versatile for what it does. It flies, first of all. It does splash damage, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage. So it does 121 damage for its hit and 67 damage per second. It fits in so many different decks and can go in so many different pushes. You can put it with Barbarians, you can put it with behind a Golem, you can put it behind a Giant, you can put it with a Prince, a Dark Prince, pretty much anything. I think it is the most versatile card in the game because it's a little bit more than the Archers because it actually flies, so it cannot take damage from ground troops, which makes it amazing on defense and offense. So that's about it. So I really do hope you enjoy this top 5 plus honorable mentions cards. If you do have any suggestions or what you think are the top 5, please tell me in the comments down below. If you want me to do one of these for like the worst 5 or best spells or best buildings or best rares or best commons or best epics, please tell me in the comments down below. So that's about it. So if you learned anything or had fun, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all.